Hi, my name is Bear and let's start with Carrion. This is a reverse horror game in which you assume the role of a shapeless blob of doom. You will stalk and consume those that imprisoned you and spread fear and panic everywhere you slither. Your goal is to eat as many puny humans as possible, although the main goal is to escape the facility. Here you'll be able to mind control people as well, and after the control part, feast on their delicious fleshy bodies. The game sometimes is a bit of a maze, since there is no map, so you will have to find where to go all by yourself. But when you see, or more likely be the cause of, all the gore and violence, it is totally worth it. This is a cute, almost 5-hour adventure, so be careful. The game might leave you longing for more blood. Legend of Keepers, career of a dungeon manager. In this mix of dungeon management and roguelite, you will lead your career as an evil dungeon boss daddy. Like, for real. You will have to plan your defense against adventurers by setting traps and positioning your awesome group of co-worker monsters. And when those puny humans meet your ferocious employees, a turn-based fight will happen. You are not friends, oh no. Even though Legend of Keepers can get a bit repetitive after several hours, you will definitely enjoy the art and scenery of the game as well as being a badass boss. Also in this game you can just scare your opponents off and they will run away with their pants full.
Full of what? Don't leave us in the darkness, tell us your secrets, Mr. Cold Beer.
Oh, shut up. War for the Overworld. This is a strategy-based building RTS where you will excavate and build your own dungeon. Yes, you are almighty evil dungeon master or mistress. Here you can choose from over 60 rooms, spells, potions, rituals, defenses and constructs as you progress through the game. Just be warned, the game is quite fast-paced, so you'll have to build like a swift underlord you are, or else your beautiful dungeon creatures might not win against the ugly puny heroes. In the game you can also build your own maps and campaigns, so unleash that inner creator you borrowed somewhere deep down under the bed long time ago. It's your time to shine. People on Steam are calling this game a spiritual successor of Dungeon Keeper. You know, with all the dark humor, evil creatures and evil you. Iratus, Lord of Undead. This is a turn-based tactical roguelite RPG set in a dark fantasy universe. You'll have to lead an army of undead to reach the surface world and bring death to the mortal realms. You know, they lack death on the surface, so you are ready to supply the demand. So you will control an obedient army of the living dead. You know, all the classic monsters. Skeletons, zombies, banshees, other unliving warriors, I swear, I know more. And you will create your soldiers the only way a necromancer knows how, from the body parts of your slain enemies. Iratus definitely has a high replayability due to different minion composition in your team. Also, there are multiple different pathways to take when it comes to finishing the game. The main story will take up to 12 hours of your boring life. Tyranny. In a realm where the tyrant has already won, you must decide how to reshape the world. Will you become an all-powerful dictator, or will you strengthen the pillars of a new regime? You are not a random villager here. In fact, you will wield a vast amount of power in the occupied lands. So basically, you are some kind of a Littlefinger. Just be careful to not end up like Littlefinger as well. You know, dead. Also, it's not a spoiler, Game of Thrones ended about 4 years ago. Yeah, time flies. So in Tyranny, your actions really matter, and no decision here is truly black or white.
Or Asian.
The choices here are morally obscure and will never let you out of the situation easily. People on Steam really love that this game is very detailed and the world itself feels alive and immersive. The combat might be challenging, but it is fair, since it rewards the players who take the time to strategize. Just be warned that Tyranny is more like a book. Be ready for the walls of text everywhere you go. Ravenous Devils. This is a game where you can finally make your dream come true and have not one but 2 businesses. In here you will be able to manage a tailor shop as well as a pub. Seems like a decent, not a villainous job, right? You will change your opinion when I say that the game draws heavy inspiration from Sweeney Todd, both in terms of style and story. Here you'll be able to sharpen your point-and-click skills, as well as upgrade your equipment and shop and develop new delicious recipes. But beware, someone knows your business's secrets and it's out there to destroy you. The game itself is only about 5 hours short, but totally worth it if you want to know what the feeling of owning a business is like. Destroy all humans. You, a decent, hard-working alien, are here to destroy those disgusting, filthy humans for your own personal gain, and just for pure fun in general. Of course, you will have an array of unearthly weapons and psychic abilities. I think you will enjoy an A-probe gun in particular, because who doesn't like never mind. In this game you can also control a flying saucer.
Nice!
In general, this game is well written and fun and doesn't take itself too seriously. Also, there's an update on the graphics, so it's much prettier now. The only sad thing about this game that it takes only about 8 hours to beat. Lucius. You will play as a boy who was born on a date with a lot of sixes. Of course, because your name is Lucius, a derivative from Lucifer, and, you know, surprise surprise, it turns out that you are some kind of a devil's child.
What?
The fun part of this game is that you have supernatural powers, some telekinesis, some mind control and some regular scheming. Killing anyone that moves while being cute and little is cool and not creepy at all, right? So in each level you will solve adventure game style puzzles in order to murder someone. So exciting. There are 3 parts of a game, well 4 if you include Lucius D-Make, so in case of loving the game, your free time is covered quite well. And as one review on Steam said, this game is a perfect little gift for your Christian friends. Hard West 2. You are a notorious outlaw with a dangerous reputation. On the hunt for a big score, you hear talk that a ghost train filled with federal gold is heading your way. So you swiftly assemble some cool people with cool guns and a few of them with even cooler supernatural powers. Sounds cool, huh? Well, the train is called Ghost Train for a reason. No spoilers though. It is a non-linear turn-based strategy game that is filled with puzzles to the brim. Instead of a traditional level-up system, the game relies on acquiring equipment and cards. So you build a poker hand to power up your team members. Hard West 2 has several difficulty levels, up to 6 team members and many other cool features, but voice acting isn't too great. Also, the game isn't optimized very well, so the game score on Steam always fluctuates between mostly and very positive. Dungeons 3. You'll be able to unleash your dark side by creating a unique underground dungeon from an array of rooms, traps and structures. You can raise a pretty despicable army here. Your goal, of course, is to corrupt the land and destroy all things cute or even remotely good. Yes, you can visit the overworld here and, yes, let the terror thrive. The game has randomly generated levels, so it has great replayability. Isn't it awesome, friend? Don't you think so, friend? Notice how I called you a friend? It's because you are subscribed to my channel, right? Right? Anyways, people on Steam are saying that this game has tons of Easter eggs and nerdy references. It's like it was made for us.
Yeah, it was literally made for us, you genius.
Oh, shut up. Undead Horde. This is an action game with elements of RPG, strategy and hack and slash. You will become a necromancer and you will battle against the living with your undead minion army. And of course, then you will necromance the potato salad out of your dead enemies and turn them into your obedient undead slaves. Beautiful. By the way, there is almost no penalty of dying. You might lose some loot and enemies respawn in the area. But hey, because of that there are more humans to slay and more loot to, well, to loot. Second part of the game is named Necropolis. Here you'll have to rebuild the city of the dead, or should I say undead? Living dead? I don't know. Anyways, you shall fight with the alive enemies once again to secure the darkest future possible for your undead minions. Also, in the second part you will be able to command over 100 units at the same time, which on my calculations is way more than just a regular 100 that you are allowed to control in the first part. Overlord. You'll become the evil Overlord. You'll use your minions to smash, destroy, kill, steal and intimidate everyone around you. Here you'll also be able to gain incredible powers. For example, you can, persuade enemies to burst into flames. Such a classic. This is an older title, so don't expect very great graphics. For me, the really fun part about this game is that it has hierarchy. The strongest minion always goes next to you, and the weakest, of course, in the back with the other newly spawned grunts. Yes, we don't need no weaklings next to us. In this way, the strongest warriors will always die first, and you are surrounded by... oh wait, that might not be the very best thing after all. Anyway, you can also choose to be evil or really evil here. The game itself is also quite humorous, so don't expect to be the serious and mysterious overlord you actually want to be. Dead by Daylight. This is an asymmetric horror game where you can play as the killer or one of the 4 survivors, or as I like to call them, victims. Since you are not a victim, at least not in the gaming world, your projected goal should be to hunt down the other 4 players. That is if you are lucky enough to become a killer, a powerful hacker and slasher, or a paranormal entity of nightmares. Because honestly, there is only a small chance that you will end as an alpha and not some puny victim. Each level is procedurally generated and the spawn points are random as well. But be warned that the game's community community can be quite toxic if you don't have any friends of your own, and if you do have friends, they are probably toxic as well. And if your friends are nice, are they even friends? And now subscribe for more useless existential content. Hitman Franchise. As the ancient proverb says, even the devil can break his ding-dong while trying to find out the right order to purchase Hitman games if you never played any. I personally recommend getting Hitman: The World of Assassination. It may just be the best, most complete stealth experience available. People are saying that the game is really fun and highly replayable. You know, there are so many ways to kill. Also, you can beat the entire game just by strategically placing banana peels and coins. No actual shooting needed, just a lot of unfortunate accidents. Like seriously, a lot of them. Although be warned, even if this is a single-player game, when the server is down, you won't be able to play. This is a real, killing blow to this whole franchise, I would say. GTA 5. Well, in this most famous game ever, you will take on the role of a street hustler, retired bank robber, and a psychopath. Those are three different people and not your one and only alcoholic Uncle Steve. So here you will have to pull off a series of dangerous heists. Although let's be honest, here you are just to steal cars and planes for your own pure enjoyment. And you will ignore the story for the most part. Has anyone ever finished this game? Well, I know that a lot of people did that, but it's somehow hard to believe. There are so many distractions. Anyway, this is the game which will encourage you to drive slowly down the alley with your windows down, spreading hip-hop music to your puny neighbors.
Cult of the Lamb.
This is a base-building roguelite adventure game where you play as a lamb. But instead of grazing grass all day and looking puffy and cute, you're gonna start your own cult. You will have to collect resources to build new structures, and of course you will have to perform dark rituals. But in this randomly generated world, you are not the only one having a cult, so you naturally will have to destroy other cult leaders in order to gain more influence over your mindless slaves. The art is cool, the music is great, and you will find a variety of activities to do with a simple poop. What's not to love? People on Steam are saying that this game might become repetitive, but it has very positive reviews from over 40,000 players. Red Dead Redemption 2. Welcome to America, 1899. Here you are, an outlaw on the run. You and your gang will have to rob, steal and fight your way to survive. You'll travel across a beautiful country and occasionally some people will ask for help, and you can just politely decline. Or not, it's up to you. The game itself feels like an interactive cinematic film. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a beautiful emotional roller coaster. The story will leave you wondering if there is a pill you can drink to forget it, so you could experience the game once again. And most importantly, your horse's testicles will shrink when it's cold.
Most importantly?
Yes, most importantly. Tropico 6. This is a strategy city builder sim. You'll become a mighty dictator or a peace-loving statesman. You will shape the fate of your very own country, mostly by building cities. Of course, you will also raid foreign lands to steal their wonders and monuments. There's no surprise that here will be a lot of politics. You will have to balance between political parties to keep everyone happy, or you might be invaded or rebelled upon. The learning curve of this game is quite steep, that is if you never played a city builder before. Even if you played, it can be quite painful to that tiny organ in between your ears, although the game has a tutorial where you can learn all the game basics, so don't worry. Well, honestly, worry. Maneater. In this game, you will not be a traditional bad guy, you will not even be a guy, you'll be a shark. In fact, you will start out as a small shark pup, where both wildlife and humans will be your enemies. This is actually an RPG game. Your goal here is to eat and become a strongest boy, and you will find plenty of food for that matter, ranging from happy fish and friendly turtles to the most delicious meal of them all, unsuspecting beach people. The game is well narrated and the humor is beautiful, but Maneater is quite short. It will take about 8 hours to complete. Untitled Goose game. Ever wanted to be an evil goose? No? Well, you should, because you can be a menace to society, not only being human that you are. Here you'll make your way around town, setting up ranks, stealing hats, honking a lot, and generally ruining everyone's day. This is a nice and funny puzzle game. And also, if you ever feel alone, you can play co-op with your mother-in-law, and that's how there will be 2 evil geese. The more the merrier, right? If you love making people suffer, this game is definitely for you. Total War Warhammer 3. This is a conclusion to the total War Warhammer trilogy. Here you will be able to choose between 7 races and 10 legendary lords. A lot of them are extremely evil, such as demons, Nurgle, ogres and some others as well. And I mostly like specifically ogres, because they, like me, love to eat any kind of meat. Well, they might be a little more extreme in their feasting habits, because, you know, they eat not only their enemies, but literally everyone and everything that is made out of meat. They would gladly eat your cat, your baboon, or even your mother-in-law. So keep your baboons away from the ogres. As a result, the ogres are freakishly strong, but shockingly obese as well. But can you blame them when the food is literally everywhere? They even have a whole religion about food, which is fair because food is life, literally. Mafia Franchise. Here you live the life of a gangster. You will climb the ladder of the family by dealing with well-paid but not very legal occupations. The game is set in a post-World War II America. You know, a perfect time for crimes to thrive. Mafia games have an interesting plot, well-developed characters and nice atmosphere. However, the games might become rather monotonous after some time of playing. If I haven't convinced you to play any of them yet, there are plenty of boobs to see here in old-school Playboy magazines. I don't want to spoil you anything, just know that there are tutorials on YouTube on how to find all the journals. Those are really worth your time. Prototype games. Here you play a man without memories, but you have cool shape-shifting abilities. Here, instead of being a thankful human being, you seek revenge for those people who gave you these awesome powers. So in Prototype, you will parkour surprisingly a lot, but also you shall consume anyone at any time. Even civilians, even grandmas, without getting fat. How cool is that? Regardless, Prototype titles are extremely satisfying for hack-and-slash fans, so people have demanded a third part for years. Sadly, so far no good news on that, although keep in mind that these games are quite old and you may run into problems by trying to make them run flawlessly. I've read the comments that some of the players have trouble even launching the game.
A Vampyr.
Guess, who are you going to be in this game? A doctor, and I am not even joking. Of course, you will be a vampire here as well. These are difficult times, no one can survive having only one profession. You are not that evil here, but you can choose to kill or rather devour good people and get stronger in the process. You will have to fight against vampire hunters, undead and other supernatural creatures with your own supernatural abilities. People on Steam really enjoy this game's atmosphere, music and voice acting as well. The only thing the game lacks is the freedom. Well, they provide you with many choices, but when you think about it, they don't really matter that much. Evil Genius 1 and 2. If you ever watched Pinky and the Brain, you are going to enjoy this game, because here you have to take over the world. This is a world domination sim, where you will be able to create your lair, train minions and dominate the world. Evil Genius is a brilliant parody of Bond films. Sadly, the second part of this game wasn't as well received as the first one. It's mostly because those Bond people are cheating, and they basically just teleport to your well-secured base from the thin air. Something went really wrong while the game was in development. I hope all those responsible were fired, or, you know, at least some Doom device was used in the process. And that's not the only problem with Evil Genius 2, but I'm not here to waste your time with boring facts. Instead, just look at this cute animal I keep on my desktop. Sea Salt. It's a dark fantasy reverse horror action strategy game with a comfy horror vibe where you play as a nightmarish force of Dagon, the Eldritch God. You will be controlling an ever-growing horde of evil minions. To say short, you are evil and you slay good guys. That is very nice, I like that. Game looks easy at the beginning, you just run after some weaponless guys and tear them to pieces. But later it gets harder and harder.
That's what she said.
And then everything in your control dies horribly. To be short, it's a great game. I have reviewed this game in my channel, and back then I gave the game 8 cold beers out of 10, which is a really high amount of imaginary alcohol. Starcraft 1 and 2. Of course, I had to put one of my favorite games in this list, because here you'll find the whole race that is villainous. It's the Zerg. Well, they are not evil by nature, but really receptive to evil manipulation by actually evil beings. In the first part, one of those evil Zerg leaders was the Overmind. He loved killing people for none other reason than to
assimilate.
Oh wait, no.
exterminate.
No, that's not it. Oh man, maybe Overmind didn't have a cool catchphrase. Never mind.
Get it?
Anyways, in the Starcraft 2 chapter known as the Heart of the Swarm, you will also be in charge of evil Zerg. Unnecessarily hot, but evil. Puny Terrans and pathetic Protoses have no chance surviving those terror. Just look at those minions and tell me that they don't look scary to you? How satisfying is this chomp? See that stupid human trying to fight a big boy? Beautiful. And all this slaughter. For what, dear Kerrigan?
Vengeance shall be mine.
Oh, vengeance. That's cool with me. Also, in StarCraft Saga, Zergs won't be the only evil characters you will play for. This game doesn't discriminate. Thank you for watching, have a nice day.
And I'll see you next time. Bye.